kind of mentioned, I have kind of two ideas of how today could go, and then you guys can either build off of that, or if you have your own ideas, then we can go from there. But as it is, I kind of figure that you guys can either explore this crater and the sort of research outpost that's nearby, or we can spend time uh, sort of mapping out the area around you. If you want to keep exploring past the crater, uh, it's up to you guys. And then, like I said, if there's other things that you guys want to do, then feel free to mention that. But those are kind of the two ideas I had in mind for immediately playable base.
I'd like to get to
Yeah.
know our new friends because, to be honest, I don't know. I obviously like Hallie. I keep call you Hallie because of our other game, Doctor.
Yeah.
Um, you were with us but weren't really like in the session, and then Crystal, I don't know anything about your character, so I want to know like who everyone is, so I know
Sure.
how to react with everyone.
Yeah, I haven't built a character yet.
Oh, okay,
I
cool.
put together like a character history last night, but I haven't like sent it to anybody yet.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense. I thought I missed something.
yeah,
I'm like, oh no.
no, no, no. Yeah, and also like I didn't build anything yet because I'm assuming since there's random dice rolls involved that y'all would want me to like do that with witnesses.
Oh, you're good.
No, we're a very trusting bunch here,
As
or at
long as you
least
don't
I.
pull up with, all 18s. You
Well,
just
Yeah.
knock 118 to a 17 will believe you,
that's the thing though. If I end up having really good dice luck,
Oh,
I could
that's
just
true.
roll
Yeah.
something foot.
Then you want someone to check it out.
Yeah, which isn't. I mean, that's not really how my dice usually work, but just in
I was
case.
gonna say I have yet to have played with anyone that has that kind of luck. Most
Yeah.
people are on the alias and doctor train here.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I have a good time making my character.
I never roll good in these games. It's where I'm always want to be. I'm out. You should be DM because like it doesn't matter if I don't roll good because if I need something to happen, I can have it happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If
So, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
If you are interested in hopping in during this session, feel free to get that character rolled up and send it over to
Okay.
me. I think let's see, it's in resources, I believe. One of the pinned messages should be
Oh, roll.
the roll 20. Um, actually, let me just create a character sheet for you uh, if you're interested in jumping in today. Let's see, in all players' journals, and can edit and be controlled by all players. And then once you get a character made, if you're ready to go, just let me know, and I'll limit the control of that character to you. At any rate, do you guys want like a little recap of what's happened, or you guys feel pretty
Be
comfortable
awesome.
with?
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer a recap, but that's mostly because my brain doesn't work this early.
Totally understandable. So, oh, and here comes my monster to click clack around while I'm talking. Uh, so, the ship Space Hath No Fury made it through the jump gate portal after a indeterminate amount of time traveling from the center of Terran Mandate space to the far reaches of Terran Mandate uh, Empire. So there was supposed to be 8 ships in this fleet that came through the gate. Uh, when the ship started waking up, however, it was just the capital ship, Space Hath No Fury. The AI Horizon activated the protocol to awaken the crew and alerted Mimi Fikes, the captain of the Space Hath No Fury, to their current dilemma, which is that the jump gate went down. This is unprecedented. So Mimi Fikes jumps into action, calls for the crew to be woken up. As they are doing so, the ship AI Horizon is working to figure out what caused the jump gates to go down and determines it was a spike of metadimensional energy originating from the Veil Nebula somewhere out in deep out in space, but its apparent effects have traveled the entire distance of the galaxy as it is known. Worse than that, with the jump gates down, you have no way of communicating with the Terran Mandate, and as if that wasn't enough, a number of your psychics that you brought with you are dead, leaving you with 12. 11 of those are in stable condition, if not maybe comatose. One is or was spewing a black, oily ichor. This would be Alias's character, who, after being resuscitated and brought back to life, is now part of your crew. He was brought to the bridge and it was not really able to explain to Mimi Fikes why this metadimensional energy happened. He's not entirely sure, much less he is not able to access his psychic powers the way that he used to. In addition to that, let's see here. A emergency klaxon went off as all of this was going on, and Horizon notified the captain that a crew member, or not a crew member, a passenger had a authorization override that would open her pod and bring her out of cryostasis in the event of an emergency. A civilian being awoken ahead of time is already a pretty bad thing to happen on a vessel, but especially when you're in the middle of a crisis, and especially when you were not aware that anyone was going to be able to override your commands as captain. So Mimi Fikes is understandably upset when Shirova is awoken and brought to the bridge. A number of conversations are going on. There are a lot of orders being spit back and forth by Mimi, and finally it is determined that the best solution here, until they can figure out what happened, is for a crew to go surface side to the small dwarf planet that is in orbit of this gas giant. There are 42 moons around this gas giant. Of them, this one appears to be the most likely to be able to sustain habitable life. And so you guys put down in a crater after Ayaz Conrad, the scientist, puts together a small team consisting of Irma, Doctor, and Shirova, and a team of 6 Marines that are going to the surface with you. He decides to put you down in a crater in the northern hemisphere of this planet in the icy tundras. After seeing on the scopes what appeared to be let my dog in. After seeing what appears to be something resembling a human dwelling. And that's where we are. Alone on this icy tundra plain in the middle of a crater.
I missed that there was like a human household looking thing there.
Yeah, that was kind of very last minute. Uh, excuse me. It was a very last minute thing that Zam threw in there, and I don't like to say no to my players. So it's I've toyed with it a little bit. It's he had said that it was a research outpost. I am going to say that it is um, potentially a research outpost. It just appears to be like from space, from the satellite imaging. It appears to be a human dwelling. There's no activity surrounding it, but it was the reason, because if you have a bunch of colonists, like even on our planet here, why would you, if you were looking for a new home, why would you settle in the tundra? So there had to be some reason that, obviously no offense to any of our northern players here, but if you had the choice of setting up a new home, why would you go to the very northern pole of the planet and in a meteor crater, no less? So there had to be a reason you guys were landing there. Zam postulated that there might be evidence of previous human activity here.
Cool.
Reassuring statement. Our chances of surviving have only fallen by 17.1% since the orbital transporter ship took off.
Oh, good. You have a voice now.
Sorry, I had to update my vocal processes.
Yes, I found the on switch.
So that's the story so far. You guys have, unless you guys want to, like I said, this is going to be kind of led by you guys predominantly, but if you guys want to make changes to anything that I'm saying, let me know. But I think that for the purposes of this game, you guys probably have if you're looking at the, all right, where is it? Under the vehicles tab, you guys probably have an ATV Explorer from page 78 of the core rule book. I imagine
My
that
one
this is
question.
yeah.
So you had me hold off on giving Doctor any kind of equipment when we first made character creation. So I just wanted to recap on what Doctor could have picked up. Because if he's going planet side, he'd probably want to get a few research tools.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm heading with this. Is you guys are, I mean, if you guys want to be on foot, great. But I mean, you chose to land in the tundra. I'm just kind of putting things together here as far as the cargo ship that dropped you here can't stay. It's going to have to return to um, the Space Hath No Fury, and so I imagine that it would probably drop a ground vehicle with you guys. And in the event of, wanting to bring equipment with you, I would imagine it's something large like an ATV Explorer so that you can gear up. I don't know if you guys want to, just stick around this crater, but if you guys have plans to move around, explore other areas of the planet, uh, your car is going to be kind of your mobile base. You can put your supplies in there. If you want to leave it parked somewhere and walk around on foot, you're more than welcome to. But until you guys have kind of found a suitable place to put the colony down, um, you're going to be kind of living out of this ATV.
Yeah, so Doctor has like this one big eye in the middle, right? It's like this one singular, like, visual scanner. So I'd assume that he'd have a bunch of just equipment, like just like tools off of the side of his head that could like fold out, like an atmosphere scanner or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so there is. I mean, you guys can. So the only kind of restrictions will be like, obviously technology from like tech level 5, there's going to be some, reasonable restrictions to that, as you guys are just first level characters here. You are also restricted to just sidearms for the time being. And this was, explained to you by Captain Fikes that, until a settlement can be established, she's putting rationing on everything. So I don't think that there's going to be like any hard limits on what you can bring with you equipment wise, as long as it's within reason. Happy, I don't know if you have the Distant Lights supplement book.
I do not.
I dropped a link for it somewhere. I think, did I drop that in resources? I did not. I'll drop it in resources again, but on the last page of this is kind of, it's new equipment, so you can take anything from the core rule book, obviously, but this is also equipment that is available to you, and it has a little bit more to do with survival and exploration than the stuff in the main book.
Yeah, because Doctor was just gonna like, as soon as we all get out, he's talking, but he's also like taking soil samples and testing pH of certain substances, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you guys are here, I guess everyone can make a notice or no check. Just kind of get a feeling for your surroundings.
Am I good at either of those?
Also,
Notice what skill do you want us to use for that?
It can be intelligence or wisdom. It's just to kind of get a feeling for your surroundings. You're on.
It's a 12 notice.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Well, good to have the robot with you.
Doctor has a +1 to notice.
I'm rolling this at a net -1.
Perfect. That should go well.
I've also
Next.
edited the information on the character sheet for Space Athno Fury, so it lists the ATV Explorer, so we know what speed, armor, HP, and whatnot. We can actually mount weapons on it too if we find some extra weapons lying around. We can mount internal weapons to it.
Yeah, I believe it has 2 hard points for like you could put like a heavy machine gun or something out on it.
Yeah, ATVs are able to mount 2 Integra weapons, and every weapon requires its own gunner. So we can have it being driven by just one person, but if we want to be able to fire the guns, we would need to have people on those once we install them.
Exactly. Sorry, guys. I'm in a quarantined house, as some of you may know, so I don't know, but I'm fairly certain I'm going to catch this lovely COVID. So I apologize for coughing into the mic.
Good.
This is when we find
Anywho.
out it can transfer over the internet.
Yeah. It's the 5G towers, guys. Don't trust them.
No.
Still waiting for my 5G upgrade to kick in.
Okay, so you guys are loading up the ATV. The 6 soldiers that are with you are kind of, they're checking the sights on their guns, they're loading magazines, they're pulling back the slides on their gun, doing all the military kind of gear up and ready things as they are moving out of the cargo lighter into the bay of the crater and kind of doing a surface scan with the 2 of you, or excuse me, the 4 of you. And the professor here sees the ridge of the crater is roughly 2 to 3 kilometers in distance. You guys have landed kind of here in the center of it. It doesn't appear to be a particularly recent crater. The ridge of it is kind of starting to erode. You don't know though, based off of what you know about what ice and snow does, if this is just normal erosion or if it's simply because the crater has been here for quite some time. Taking soil samples, Happy, you would know that the crater strike was probably somewhere between 500 and 1,000 years ago. You would need to do a bit more substantive analysis to figure out the exact impact date.
Okay. Informative statement. Preliminary testing determines that the crater we have found ourselves in is between 5,000 and 500 1,000 years old. Impact ridge is eroding. States, I don't know if that is due to our environment or the sheer age of the crater. It's about 3 kilometers off.
Do we know if there was any unique mineral substance in the asteroid if it crashed on the meteor? Because it would be nice to know, because sometimes you can find very useful metals in, asteroids and meteors. So
We would have to we would have to mine deeper in. This is just a topsoil sample. If I had more mining equipment, I could probably find something deeper in. Minerals wouldn't be anywhere above, I'd say, 2 feet down.
understood. Appreciate the effort. I will mark that in my date.
Yeah, so it's I mean it's good to know that this is here for at the very least. Conrad is probably itchy to go and explore this dwelling that appears to be human, but marking on your map you have this crater to explore is probably worthwhile, especially noting that while your ship has an amount of supplies, it's definitely finite. You will eventually need to set up mining and resource gathering. So this could be a good place to find some of those rare earth minerals that comets and asteroids are known to deposit.
Professor, almost at Hallie now. Doctor is going to walk over to up until recently psycho or psychic.
Hello
And
there.
yeah, hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. Yeah. And he's just kind of look at them, and he's gonna like a panel on like where his left ear would be is gonna open up, and you're gonna see like a video, like a camera appear, and Doctor's gonna go, query, would you be willing to describe how you felt when the affliction started?
Well, I'd say it felt a lot like I was dying.
Interesting. Can you continue?
It felt like I was disconnected from everything I had known, and that something else inside of me wanted out.
And are you still able to use psychic abilities?
There's something there, but it is not what I had before. It is
Yeah,
more.
what would you roll here, Alias? Do you have psychic or
I stripped all of my psychic abilities off of my sheet. I could try to roll a no check to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, or maybe like a mental saving throw. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what would be appropriate here.
Both are not going to be particularly great, so I'll let you be the final decider.
Excuse me.
Yeah, let's get a mental saving throw.
No. That is a 7.
um, 7 is enough, though, that I'm not going to have you suffer any further system strain. But you
Hold
do
on,
feel a very it's kind of like I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I don't have any missing limbs, but that the phantom limb syndrome that they kind of talk about, like it feels like a part of you has been removed. Only rather than just being removed, your ability to connect to the meta dimension feels like it feels like it's been removed and replaced with something that is both yours and not yours. And so you are having a hard time getting any control around it. It feels like it almost feels like you're caged with like a wild animal.
Oh.
I like the comparison to the Phantom Limb too, because that to me makes it seem like, because I know some people who have had Phantom Limb stuff before, and sometimes they'll describe it as um, like they feel like something brushes up against their arm that used to be there, and they don't really like. They're like, oh wait, that's not a real thing, just because they like assume when someone touches them that they're gonna feel it. So it's like you're still getting these sort of like pangs of like, oh, I should be able to feel like what this person is feeling, or use my power in that way, but you don't actually get it, so it kind of throws you off.
Yeah. It's probably especially bad because I was actually a metapsionic, so
Yeah.
I go from feeling all the psionic energy around me to nothing
Or it's like you get
from
like a
so
pang of something and it's like, I don't know if that's real because I don't have that power anymore.
Yeah, so I'm like constantly like jittering, looking off over there, like, what was that? What was
Like
that?
like trying to pick up the
Yeah.
TV signal through static.
Yeah, so just out of curiosity, and since we've got Crystal here, uh, have you guys explored at all what your character class and background is with each other? I don't think we really did. And if you want to kind of keep that stuff secret or let it come out through gameplay, that's totally fine. But
Mhm.
I'm just curious if we explored at all what you guys are playing and if your motivations are clear to the rest of the party. For you, Alias, I do want to know, um, is the shadow creature that you had mentioned in the first session, is that present right now, or is that, because I know that at the end of that scene that we did, it went back inside of you, but I want to know if it has come back out since then.
I'm not really sure. That's I feel like it can come out on its own even when I don't call for it, so there's a distinct chance, especially since I'm failing my mental saves left and right, that the cat is literally out of the bag.
Do we see it if it is, or is it just him? Um,
Uh,
yeah, but the video camera will close, and he's like, interesting. I will send this to Horizon to perform voice and facial feature analysis on. You tell if you're telling the truth. Thank you.
uh, okay. I think I liked you better when you were mute.
the
Yes.
the
Go ahead.
Marines have formed a perimeter around you and are kind of waiting on. It would be Conrad's order, but he is kind of like a kid in a candy store right now. I mean, this is what he is trained for: is to make first contact with an alien species, but also to explore alien worlds. And so he has kind of lost the plot here a little bit and is just kind of muttering to himself as he examines the crater around you. So the Marines have kind of formed a perimeter and are waiting for you to determine what the next step is. The cargo lighter has taken off. If you guys want to do a quick sort of recap on the supplies that you've brought with you, we can do that. I'm also not really necessarily going to punish you if we go 2-3 sessions in and you're like, oh shit, we forgot to bring type B cell batteries. I'm going to assume that those kinds of things are as standard equipment. They're going to be on the ATV Explorer regardless. I'm more interested in same goes for things like rations. I assume that consumables are going to be on the ATV Explorer. I'm more interested in what you guys are bringing for exploration. And like I said, we don't have to necessarily get that entirely down now. I'm not going to punish you if later you're like, oh, well, obviously we would have brought a
tent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doctor is definitely bringing just all kinds of just research equipment. He doesn't know how to fire weapons, so he didn't bring a firearm because like that's what the Marines are for. That's not his job as the robot. He's just bringing instruments to like record climate activity and test ocean acidity if we find water sources, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Trying to think, would that be like a survival kit or?
Yeah, like just I mean, I don't know the exact name of the equipment, but it's just like science, just whatever.
Okay, that's a personal thing, or do you want like a sort of mobile lab?
Yeah, like a mobile like laboratory. Like if we have something just like a foldable table, like.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that you would have the like deep analysis equipment. I think you have like field.
Yeah, just field walk.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, that works for me. Hey, come here.
Okay, I'll put in other equipment. Field testing lab.
Come on.
Character for a second. I was like, what? Who's he talking
Oh
about?
yeah. Yeah, no, he just unfolds into a giant testing lab and then.
Yeah,
that's his box farm. It's just a table.
Didn't I tell you that Happy was going to be playing a Transformer?
Yeah, guys, I am the ATV.
I'm gonna add a couple things to my stuff because originally I had just like an armored vac suit, nav comp, survey scanner, field radio, and then an extra data storage unit. But looking back on it, that was specifically just like basic radio supplies. I need like actual survival shit. And then I wanted to see whether or not a drone would be something that Sharova would have been given by her benefactors, or if that would be something that okay, because I was thinking just like a standard tech level for drone that they could use for surveying would be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said in the first session, like a lot of things are going to be just kind of taken for granted. Like at this juncture in history, there are going to be some things that are just kind of obvious. So drones, when the ship entered the atmosphere of this planet, it immediately set up a network of satellites. So you guys have a very temperamental but somewhat serviceable internet. So there's going to be things like that, like I said, are just going to be kind of taken for granted. That like at this point in time, it just kind of makes sense that humanity would just have.
Then Doctor immediately reaches into whatever computer he has on himself, goes to the first, just like on the spot creates a posting message board on this internet, and just types fast. Just simple as that.
You go to do that, and you see that the ship AI Horizon has already commented. So now you just look foolish.
Damn it! Damn you, Horizon. No, but I'm going to assume that I have stuff like data guides, like any kind of computer booking stuff because I am a hacker.
Yeah. So your access to that stuff might become more restricted as the colony develops and like laws and bylaws and whatnot are created. But right now, since there's no one but you and the survivors of the jump gate incident, you have been kind of given full access by the Captain Mimi Fikes to any gear that you deem necessary to find a suitable place to put down the colony. The only thing that she's really restricted you from is military hardware. And you can still access some of that, but you do have to check it out from the head of security. So that's part of the reason you guys just have sidearms, whereas the Marines have full combat armor and combat rifles.
Oh man, it would have been great if we all decided to rock down here with fucking power armor.
Just fucking, we all play warriors. We just are the Marines. Where's my mech, boys?
How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
I think we as a group currently have like next to zero combat capability.
Oh,
Well,
I don't even. Doctor did not even pick up a sidearm.
Well, so it's funny because I don't know. I think with the exception of my in-person group, I don't know that I've ever played a session of Stars Without Number that had a warrior in it. Like everyone always goes expert or psychic. So
Because I mean, like, I feel like not that be mean to warriors, but I feel like their ability to reroll a combat skill just is not as useful as it is as an expert or a psychic.
Well, I'm sure we will find out exactly when that is useful.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I just like think fate.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really entirely up to you guys. But like the goal here is to, like, right now the only people that are awake, with the exception of Shirova, are crew personnel. So the goal here is to find somewhere to set the Space Has No Fury down and wake the rest of the citizen population.
So I took a look at some of the drone stuff because I figured that might be useful for us to know. And I'll post what I found under the Space Hath No Fury, just so we all know what's there.
Oh yeah, sorry. We got distracted with that whole conversation about
it's all good.
warriors. I created a tab for your guys' ATV Explorer in Roll20.
Oh, awesome. Cool. I will edit it there too. So basically, there are a couple different types of drones. There's a primitive drone, which is basically like a tech level 3. But more likely, what we would be using would be a stalker drone, which is the lowest level of tech level 4 drone, so the workhorse. And in terms of like just scouting, they are allowed 3 different fittings. So the 3 fittings that most made sense were observation suite, station keeping, and extended flight, meaning that they can observe stuff more than just regular cameras. Like they can take like environmental readings and things like that. Station keeping means they can fly or at least stay stationary on their own without someone constantly flying them. And then extended flight just gives them an extra battery to take along with them. So each of those is about 1,700 credits, so not terribly expensive. And they each have a range of about 2 kilometers, meaning that you could use them to fly out, scan the area, and then come back and recharge.
Was he a robot for me? For everyone else?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
For me?
everything you just said for the past like
He's a robot
25 seconds was completely unintelligible.
Sorry, it's my internet. It's been really awful. So I apologize. I'll post the stuff of what I said in the chat.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I think that the stalker drone makes sense as far as equipment is concerned, if you want to just post what you said as far as its equipment is concerned, then we can kind of move on from there. But what do you guys want to do? I mean, you're in kind of a large crater on a unknown world. I don't know if I really explained the world that well. I know I posted it I think in world building, but let me know if you guys want any further details on this little dwarf planet that you're on, which also, as I mentioned at the end of the last session, does not have a name yet.
Well, I'm no
We shall name it
scientist, so-
Doctor.
Oh god.
So I did finish slapping the character together. I built a contract miner.
Ooh,
I don't know if she would necessarily be awake yet. There's like a background in like the bio info in like the character sheet, but basically like just kind of is looking for like the idea was that like her sister was part of the original group of colony people that disappeared, and so she is kind of like a miner slash kind of mechanic, and kind of signed up on this mission, to use her mechanic skills to help the colony, but also, personally, she wants to find out what happened to her sister.
great. Well, it's entirely up to you if you want to, because we can kind of retcon and say that you were awakened as well, and are, since you're a contract miner, maybe Dr. Conrad saw that as your specialty and had you woken up so that you could come to the surface and explore with it. It's whatever you want to do. If you want to just sit back and keep listening in, I'm fine with that. If you want to jump in, let me know. But I would say that we're burned in daylight here, but that's kind of one of the things that I don't know if you guys checked on the world building, because you are on a Pluto-sized, maybe slightly larger, like somewhere between Pluto and Mars-sized planet that is orbiting this gas giant, and there are 41 other moons orbiting this gas giant. So like I said, I'd say you guys are burning daylight, but it's one thing that you're going to come to find out about this planet is that it is never fully dark. Given the proximity to the gas giant, there's always kind of a dawn to dusk-ish glow. And even, if you had another interstellar body blocking the gas giant, like another moon passing through its orbit, it's still just, it's never going to get much darker than like twilight or dusk.
Yeah, so if you're cool with me just jumping in, I think I will.
Yeah.
Kiri is, she's wearing like an armored vac suit, has like a satchel with a bunch of like tools and stuff in it that she's kind of brought along, and she has like a pretty gnarly looking scar kind of across like one side of her face. Um, and probably as everyone else has been kind of hanging out and talking to the psychic, it's kind of just like wandered off a little bit and was like kind of just taking like some basic like kind of scans of the immediate area, since we're on a glacier, just to make sure there's not like, oh, if we walk 5 feet to the left, that there's it's like a hole covered by some ice and we'll fall in and die, just kind of trying to like see if the immediate area has any like obvious hazards that we should avoid.
Let's see. If you want to roll me a notice or no check, intelligence, wisdom, and let me know what that is, I can give you a little more information about your surroundings.
Okay. My character sheet looks like it's updating.
I just updated it so that only you can control it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Looks like it's kind of loading. Let's see here.
Yeah, if you close and open it back up, it should fix itself.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh yeah. All right. A notice check, you said?
Yeah, notice or no.
Okay, I'll go with notice. And what attribute? Oops.
Either wisdom or intelligence. This is just kind of you're kind of doing the same thing that Doctor did earlier. You're doing kind of a survey of your surroundings, so it's going to be entirely up to your personal expertise. So whatever is going to be the best attributes for you.
I was just to make sure I understand correctly. Doctor was sent as like the to be the eyes and ears of Horizon, yeah.
Yes.
So I assume that I have some kind of you said they built a satellite array, so I assume that I have some kind of like I don't know, compound or whatever that like is always transmitting like a signal to Horizon to say yes, this like unit is still functioning.
Yeah. So it's going to be very
Body.
Fuck.
Nice
it's going to be very
job.
similar
Yeah.
in.
This is never gonna happen again.
Jesus, you beat the robot whose job this is.
Oh, awesome. We'll deal with that in a second. To answer your question, Happy, it's going to be very similar to like early internet and satellite days in our current timeline. So you're going to be disconnected
Dial
from.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, yeah, you are going to be disconnected at points from Horizon or its network of satellites simply because it does not have the capability right now to maintain constant geocentric orbit to triangulate on you. So you'll probably be doing data dumps.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I assumed as much. But whenever I am in contact with Horizon, I'm just like sending back all the data that I have, like just data streams. So they, I guess, I don't know, can take it and then extrapolate it and read it.
Yeah, exactly. As for you, Crystal, with your mining background, you suspect that there are probably some rare earth minerals in this caldera. Um, it appears pretty stable. It doesn't seem like the sorry, I don't know what my dog's snoring and it's hilarious. She got me distracted.
Hear
The
it, actually.
the glacier around you appears to be pretty stable, and you can gather that much because you can see just barely over the lip of the caldera some short trees growing around the lip of it. So you figure that it has to be somewhat stable for there to be any sort of plant life putting roots down.
Cool. All right. So then I kind of put the scanner away and just like march back up to the group. Like I feel like we all landed and she just like wandered off without really saying much. And then like she's like wandering back and she's like, all right, I don't know who's in charge of this little expedition yet, but I just want to let y'all know. Seems like the immediate area is pretty stable and safe. And looks like there might be some like a ore node nearby that I marked down on the map. Might be something to keep in mind for later. But you know, maybe we ought to get out of the wind.
I like this one. She thinks ahead. Yes, I think that would be a good idea. Finding stable ground to make, camp and survive would be a good
Really,
idea.
I believe Ayaz wanted us to continue to the suspected human habitation zone. Should we be on our way?
Would not be a bad idea. We can send some of the Marines out to find us another campsite just in case. Check the local area.
Is there
Uh,
such thing as like a long-range scanner, or long-range in quotations, like meant for planetary use, for organic life? Because I'm just
I'm sure the
bad
ship
at
would have had
reading
one.
right now.
I don't know that it would be. I mean, that's kind of a tricky question to answer because like the trees, for example, on the lip of the caldera would technically count as uh, bioorganic life, and so
Yeah.
You get false
I don't know
readings.
that it's I don't know that it's going to give you. I guess yes, but it's going to immediately start picking up on trees and if there's any sort of uh, plant life or whatever around you, it'll pick that up as well as any sort of fauna. So I don't know how useful that would be to you.
I'm gonna look over at Ayaz, who is like, oh, excuse me.
I was just gonna say it's definitely not useful to me.
No,
My skills revolve around technician stuff. Sorry.
I'm gonna look over at Ayaz, who I like to imagine is just like literally just like looking at the dot and like taking a bunch of samples, and be like, Horizon would like to remind you, Captain, or Leader, I assume, that your mission is still to progress to the habitation zone. There will be time for soil sampling after a safe landing zone has been established.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think Conrad straightens as he hears you say that, and you can see like he's mildly annoyed, but understands that yeah, you are going to have to just make note of this on your map and keep moving. And so he boards uh, the ATV Explorer and drops his gear. The soldiers are kind of waiting for orders. They have their own captain, but they were assigned to your group as sort of protection against whatever you might find in this wilderness. So they are kind of leaning on your expertise. You are the group that was sent to find some sort of habitable place that you can put the colony down. So they are pretty much just here to take orders from you and protect you in the event that you run into something nasty.
I'll walk over to the guard captain. I used to say they had a captain, so whoever like is leading the little forte. We would like to request that you form a small squad of your men to, once we get to the human habitation zone, to try and find a place that would be suitable for a prolonged campsite if we were to stay to continue research on this planet. Is that something you can do?
Yeah. I mean, we're coming with you, right? You don't expect us to walk there, do you?
No, you're coming with us to the human habitation zone, and then while we're doing the research and the investigation, if you could try and, set up a safe campsite.
Affirmative.
Awesome. And he'll do like a really weird thumbs up, like he puts out a hand, and then his thumb like extends out of his hand.
You do the little droid thumbs up from the new Star Wars movie with BB-8.
Yeah, like the light all flips.
Yeah, the soldiers are not unfamiliar with virtual intelligences and artificial intelligences, but they have not perhaps been so directly ordered to do anything by one. So yeah, what do you guys want to do?
I think we want to move on to the colony, if we even know where that is yet.
The suspected habitation zone, yeah.
Yeah, because we can see,
Yes.
because it sounds like we can see kind of like a building or some sort nearby, so it seems like a logical place to head to.
Yeah, so if you will refer to under the world building tab, I put in kind of a
A nice little
map
hex
of your
drawing.
current, yeah, a map of your current area. the center there is the crater that you're in. The aforementioned trees around the caldera are to what would be east if we were to give this cardinal directions. The human-like dwelling that was seen by Conrad from the satellite imaging of the planet is somewhere to the northwest of you.
Interesting. The foliage, which would suggest normal plant life and nutrition in the soil, would be to the east, whereas the habitation is to the west, meaning there might be something out there in the east that we don't want to deal
Chief, if you're
with.
talking, you're being cut out.
Damn it!
Oh, I actually heard him that time.
Yeah, me
Yeah, I
too.
did too.
Oh shit.
I mean, yeah. We don't know what's in the woods. I mean, if they were studying something on the glacier, though, it would make sense not to, to have the research outpost on the glacier as well. So it could just be coincidence.
Perhaps once we're settled, we can scout out the area with some of the Marines to find out what wildlife is on a planet. There may be some sort of predator in the forest.
Open statement. It's a shame that your powers have diminished, because statistically, if we had your use, our survival chance improves by a significant margin, almost 100%.
Well,
So, you guys, excuse me, sorry. You guys start making your way out of the crater. So this is, I kind of filled the map in just to give us something to play with. As we move through each hex, keep in mind that is like 1 kilometer of travel distance, which is, no trouble for the ATV. But you are eventually going to have to stop and let it refuel. It runs off of a Type B battery. So I imagine that you guys will have spares of that, maybe solar rechargers, whatever, to keep that rolling. Would you guys be interested in doing like sort of a hex crawl thing and seeing if there are things to explore or encounters or whatever as we go hex to hex, or do you want to just sort of move forward to the research outpost?
I mean, I don't think that.
encounters is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that every single hex needs to necessarily have something on it, but I feel like if you have ideas for something you want to throw at us, I mean, like, go straight ahead. That sounds awesome.
Like a super predator.
Like a super predator. Yeah. Well, let me. Let's see here. Where is?
Let me just
Guys,
roll
why
up a
did the
super
habitation
predator.
stand up and point guns at us?
The habitation itself.
Is the super predator. It's like
Yeah,
a big
it's just-
mimic.
Exactly.
Look
It's
back
just
while
very
we're driving
well.
away. And
It's
the
chasing
crater
us.
is just slowly moving towards us.
Okie doke.
It's like the freaking one from Star Wars, you know? It's like it was like that they went to the asteroid, but the asteroid was the monster.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, what if the planet's the predator?
It's like it's Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy. The planet is the bad guy.
Well, now I'm paranoid.
Yeah, so I think that if I could just get a D6, excuse me, got the hiccups. A 2d6 from someone, I can kind of give you just some scant details of what you're seeing as you're going by, and I think we can just go to an encounter if that happens.
Who wants to take the blame? Because if you roll it and it's bad, we're all gonna blame you. So someone's gotta do it.
Fuck it, I'll do it.
That's the
That's
spirit.
the spirit.
Only the cycle.
All right, we got a 9.
a 9, and let's see.
Very average.
Planet cracks.
The glacier breaks beneath us, and our ATV is fucked.
Yeah, it's just a
I have it
chasm.
on good authority that the glacier itself is safe.
That's true. Let's see. So
Okay, the glacier is safe. What about the stuff under the glacier?
Yeah, I didn't really didn't ask that question. I didn't ask about the Yetis that are hiding under the glacier.
yeah, so there's not much to report. This is dangerous wilderness area only because of the sort of barren quality of it. You are registering very, very high winds outside of the ATV Explorer, which kind of accounts for the lack of scrub. You know, there was the trees and the forest to the east of you, but out this way it appears that the winds are too high for much plant life to grow. And you know as well that even if there was plant life to grow here, it's unlikely that anything is going to grow very tall given how thin the atmosphere is. But you kind of make it through the first, I don't know, let's say a day of travel. Between landing on the surface, getting the ATV Explorer loaded, and getting out of the crater, I would say that's probably a day of activity. So you get up out of the crater. You were not subject to these winds before, being down below the lip of it, but now you are realizing that your likelihood of survival drops pretty incrementally the longer that you would be outside of the ATV, which means that the longer you are out exploring, the more difficult your survival checks will become.
If you'll allow it, I would like to have brought along like a survival kit.
Absolutely.
Like flares and blankie.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense to me.
You got the stuffy, you know, the bale. Don't question why the VI has a stuffed bale, guys. Okay, it's important to his backstory.
It's just like riding on him. It's like, is it also like a backpack or is it like?
No, it's just a teddy bear. He holds it.
Oh. Hey, what's with the bear?
It was a gift from Horizon.
Yeah, so you guys make it to the human-shaped dwelling.
Wait, the dwelling is shaped like a human?
No, I intentionally worded it weird. It's from what Conrad was able to tell from sensor scannings and satellite imagery, it does appear to be some sort of habitation. You're not sure though if there is if this is evidence of human habitation or alien habitation. And that's part of the reason that Conrad wanted to come explore this area, to see whether or not this is evidence of the previous colonists having landed on this planet, or if it's some native sentient species.
So now that we're up close, I mean, just taking a basic look at the architecture, does it look like something that, you know, normal humans like us would have built, or, you know, is there anything like super weird and obviously alien about the structure itself?
Let's see. We'll see how this works. If it sucks, then you know we won't do it. But let's see. That's not gonna work, is it? Let's see what you guys roll up, because I have some ideas for this space. But if you guys want to roll some stats, or if you just want to kind of say like, I think it has this, and we can kind of work together to build what this is.
Well, it all depends if it's really a human structure or just like a rock formation that looks like one?
Yeah, if we
Yeah,
were
I guess we
expecting
could.
it to be colony stuff, I'd more expect it to be prefabricated.
Yeah, so if you look at the Distant Lights PDF, they have kind of an interesting thing for what does the colony look like, and I think that can kind of be a good indication of what does this research station look like? What is it? Is it prefab? Is it, like you guys asked, is it something that was made by natives? Is it something that was made by humans? I think we can kind of start there. Let me try to get that stupid page up so I can tell you
Oh
what
yeah,
it is.
there it is. I think it's the 13 is the one we're looking at.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see.
Page 13.
Yeah, so I think that if you guys want to kind of start here, looking, we can either roll for these things, or if you just like this should give you some ideas as to what I'm thinking as far as, what things to look for. So domes and geodesic structures versus blocky cubes or rectangular solids, that kind of thing, to get us started here while I frantically vamp and try to find the other page in the other book that I am working out of.
I think
Awesome.
rolling would be cool because that
Yeah,
way none of
I
us
think
know.
like because like that could also give life to what kind of people inhabited like the first colonists in the sector. What kind of society did they develop before this apocalypse
Right.
inflicted them?
Also, yeah, it might give us a clue as to whether this is like the colonists or somebody who's been, like somebody who was on this planet before the colonists arrive. Because the
Oh, as like
colonists would probably be building pretty simple temporary structure versus like, big
do we know
spires.
how long the colonists, the original colonists, were in this sector before they called for help, or this that they did call for help?
There was, yeah. So the reason that so in this day and age of the Terran Mandate, there were not a lot of colony ships being built. So this one was specifically commissioned after a distress beacon came from the previous colony that had come out here. So the shortly after the jump gate to this sector was built, a unauthorized colony ship, or maybe not even necessarily a ship designed for colonization, just some ships came through this jump gate. And while they maybe didn't necessarily have the permission of the Terran Mandate, the Terran Mandate doesn't always. It sometimes turns a blind eye to those kinds of activities because maybe they didn't necessarily have the resources or the time or whatever it may be to personally attend to a colony. So sometimes, like, and this happened in our own history too, right? Where people would go off and start their own colony, and then the government would come by later and be like, "Oh, well, you came from our uh, uh, government. You came from our, like you're English, so this is now by right an English colony." And so that's kind of the way that the Terran Mandate handled some of these things, where they weren't necessarily going to punish the people that came through the jump gate so much as once they had been established, trade routes and freighters would start coming through the gate, and that would kind of lock them into being a Terran Mandate colony.
Well, my
However,
question is, how long did this colony exist for before they called for help?
yeah, so that's where I was kind of coming to next. The the ship itself, or number of ships left some 20 years ago to go through the jump gate. The distress signal came some 5 years ago, and in the time between, the Terran Mandate decided to build this ship, commission the Space Half No Fury, find a pilot for it, and send it out the gates.
Okay, so
So sometime in the
roughly.
last 20 years, somebody may or may not have been on this planet.
Okay, yeah, because that makes me. So this colony had roughly 15 years to develop before they called for help, and then we have no idea why they called for help, but they did. Okay.
Cool. Do we want to start rolling some of this up?
Yeah.
234.
All right.
I love dice. Dice.
Dice are great. I'll start with the d6 for the basic like outline. 2.
Domes and geodesic structures.
All right.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Building
Here we go. God
shapes
bless
and
America.
outlines.
That took far too long to find this page. Okay,
Do we want to take turns, or do you want me just to keep rolling?
Oh no, we should definitely take turns. I'm writing
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
down. I'm trying to keep
Awesome.
track of
Yeah, I'm
everything.
trying to write down.
Yeah.
Is there a channel we can like dump our notes in?
If you want to, you can. Oh, let's see.
I've been
If
using
you want to, you could.
the resources, or no, sorry, the what was it? Character channel for dumping stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to dump things in resources or some session summary, I'm more than happy for you guys to do that. Maybe if it's helpful, I can create a notes tab
Sure.
where you guys can just dump everything.
Okay.
Go ahead and just do that right now.
Alias, why don't you roll the next one?
Yeah. Let's go down the list. Oh
So
my
it's a
God,
D8
what
for color palettes.
Ooh.
Bare
Bare
concrete,
concrete and
metal.
metal.
Inviting.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna just make a separate window here for myself to keep track of this.
Just down the list. I think Artie, you'd be rolling next.
Yep. We'll go ahead and do that. We are rolling a D10 / R D10. Oh wow! Also rolled a one. Originally enforced
Oh,
grids of
boy.
streets.
Oh
Oh.
God.
Geodesic domes that are concrete and metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got default. Okay.
And then what was your what did you roll there, Artie? What were you rolling for?
General outpost layout. I'll post it in the notes here.
Yeah, there are very few multi-story buildings.
Oh, I guess that's me again.
Yeah.
So you rolled for the vertical architecture. Is that what you just did? Sorry, I'm trying to keep up here.
Yep. Yeah.
Damn internet.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Problem. Roads or passages are often blocked.
Oh. Well, shit.
Maybe
I would
dilapidated
go.
buildings? Who knows?
Yeah, I would go ahead and say let's get everything rolled up, and then let's kind of describe what those things mean.
Final roll.
Oh, let's see here.
Oh, good. Regular minor earth tremors.
Sure, that sounds fun.
Seems like that crater may have done something.
Well, I mean, that
if
crater
you,
is 500 years old, so
Yeah.
at least.
yeah, if you recall, well, actually, I don't know if I gave this information to you guys. Did I give you the world tags for your
I
planet?
don't think you did.
If you
I
did,
think it's posted, but we didn't go over it.
yeah, I think it was something like weird geology and weird
Yeah,
something else.
it was freak geology and freak weather. I might be that. I don't know.
So it's freak geology, and then the other tag is colonized planet, which sort of covers. So I gave it the tag colonized planet because you guys are obviously there, but that can also cover missing colonists or alien colonists or whatever it may be that we find as we build this planet out. But you just said the last thing you said there about like the earthquakes can be sort of accounted for with the freak geology. So let's see. We got dang it. I have a couple of flavor things that I want to have you guys roll, but let's start first just by kind of going over the stuff in the distant lights. So domes and geodesic structures made predominantly of barren concrete metal. So, I mean, I guess since we're building this together, I'll give you my ideas and then maybe you guys can elaborate or build on that and we can see working together what you guys discover. And I might have you guys roll like notice and no checks, or it might just be, as we go. But I think just to start, let's all kind of play a little jazz here. Let's improvise a little bit, figure out what's going on. So my idea, the first thing that immediately came to mind for me when you guys rolled geodesic domes, and it kind of makes sense to me too why it's not by the forest. I think it makes sense that this is an observatory.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know. I'm gonna send a picture in chat, but like when you said that, I immediately got like images of when they dig geodesic domes. I thought like Mars habitation domes, like they test like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it felt like very either blocky structures where it's like you just built it, like they were prefab and they just kind of set them up, or something that was built to withstand tremors.
Yeah, it seems like the general theme of this thing, like the fact that it's just like concrete and metal, and geodesic domes are usually pretty like structurally sound, so it's probably just like this area has a lot of tremors, so it's purpose built to withstand that.
And then they went ahead and made them multi-story.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
but very few are multi-story.
Yeah, I imagine that probably if you guys are okay with the observatory thing, that's probably why there's not very many multi-story buildings, is to kind of keep the skyline clear for the telescope.
A big telescope
Yeah.
that could be very useful for a starting colony. That's like crazy. That's like super good.
Does anyone have any ideas for rigid street? Like, how big is this settlement? And since it says rigid streets, is that like foot traffic or vehicle traffic?
My idea was, since you said that it's still like when we first saw it, we weren't even sure it was a settlement, like it still was a possible thing, that it's probably not very big. Maybe like a max of like 10 or so buildings. So I'm thinking like by rigid roads it means like you see like just like paths, like just from one door directly to another.
Right, people aren't just joyriding around. They're going from point A to point B. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it seems very purpose driven in its
especially because you need a vac suit to
layout.
be outside. So like, why are you going to be outside a lot? They need to make it as efficient as possible to get inside to outside, because you don't want to be stuck outside in a vac suit in a tremor.
Yep.
I think that all makes sense. So, what's our infrastructure problem? Is the roads or passages are often blocked? Let's think on that a little bit. What besides the obvious of like freak geology that might cause roads to settle or sidewalks to heave. What reasons would there be for the roads or passages of this to be blocked.
Well, if this place is no longer in habitation, and there's no people in it anymore, then maybe a few of the domes have fallen over, and the metal bars have over time, without being taken care of, have bent and collapsed, and maybe there's like a dome in a road, like they've flipped over.
Okay. So, playing off of that, so yeah, how about these are ruins then? And some of the roadways are blocked by that. I'm going to build off of that. I'm going to say that you guys noticed the high winds once you came out of that crater. I'm going to say that there's big snow drifts in some of the roads and passageways as well that make it kind of difficult to traverse.
Yeah, it would also make sense from like a prefab side of things because they build them to like put down quickly, but not necessarily to last forever. And especially with minor tremors going off pretty regularly, they wouldn't have built these to just like to specifically deal with that. So that would have probably caused issues with the roads.
Yeah, and there's been nobody to kind of fix minor damage, so.
Just compounds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Did we get a quirk of this place? Is that
That's the tremors.
Yeah.
That's
the tremors?
That's the
Perfect.
frequent
Okay.
minor tremors.
Okay, so I think we've got some pretty good flavor here for this, but let's just for shits and giggles here. Somebody roll me 2d6.
I volunteer as tribute if that's okay with everyone else.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Yeah, right.
7.
Nice
Let's
job.
see.
You rolled a 7. That's the worst number ever.
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, let's see here.
Find it in your heart to forgive me, please.
2 and a 5. None of these really work for what I was hoping to get here, but that's okay. Through your it doesn't really make sense, but we'll go with it. Through your exploration, you also see that they have there are some food storages here. What your result came up root cellar, but that doesn't really make sense in the tundra as it's kind of hard to dig through the ice. So through your explorations, you might find some storage here, which would suggest that this was not a permanent settlement.
We should
It's
probably
like
look
it's
around
like
to
an
see if
Antarctic
there's-
settlement, like we had mentioned before, with especially as Sam said, with it being in the Arctic in the northern tundra. This is like the forts up in Antarctica, like a science, that maybe only a few times a year,
Yeah.
whatever, just conducting seasonal when the climate allows them to come out here for tests.
Yeah, it's like a McMurdo type of situation.
Yeah. And what better way to keep things cold than digging into the permafrost and literally burying them there?
Yeah. So I think we've done a pretty good job here of building this research outpost. I guess now let's dig into the guts of it. What do you guys want to do here? Do you guys want to stay the night? Do you guys want to do some investigation?
Yeah, I think.
You just want
Be
to
wrong,
note,
feel free to correct me.
want to just note that it exists and keep moving. I mean, what's the plan here?
Well, I think
Go ahead.
it looks like we might. I mean, if not all of the buildings are entirely ruined, we might be able to kind of set up like a shelter here. So I think the first order of business would be to kind of do like a quick drive around and see if there's any building that looks like it's more intact than the others, because that might be some place that we could, as we're kind of exploring. We don't want to just be outside the whole time. But if we could set up like just a small like home base area in like a protected building so we don't die of exposure, that seems like a good place to start.
Just who's driving the ATV?
That's a
Shirova
good
never drives
question.
herself. She has chauffeurs for that.
Does anybody have pilot skill?
I mean, I've got +0, but could the Marines be driving it?
Yeah.
I mean, we could just give it to the Marines if nobody has pilot.
I've
I'm
got
gonna look at
+0 pilot, I'm pretty sure.
Conrad's score real quick and see if he has pilot.
Like, if no one else, I can do it. Like, I'm not -1. Like, I have
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
I put that as a +0 to make it, like, kind of like, melds in with the machine to machine. It just kind
Yeah.
of,
So
does it.
Conrad can't drive.
He's too busy taking soil samples.
Yeah. So, if you guys want a Marine to drive, that's totally fine. I don't know that it's going to be necessary to roll any sort of pilot checks right now, since we've kind of already established that you guys were able to make it across the tundra relatively easily to get to this research center. I'm going to kind of keep rolling things in the background. Not to sound ominous, but it's going to kind of determine what's happening as time passes. So if you guys want to spend time at this research station, that's great. If you want to move on and see if you can find more things on this planet or find a drop site for the colony, I'm fine with that as well. Just know that that will start triggering rolls as we go through. I'm not going to have you roll for every hex, but I do want to kind of keep building the terrain as we go. So I might have you guys roll to determine if we're moving into a different environment. So we'll be mapping the planet as we go, and that will, maybe this is a tundra and it drops off pretty quickly to, a barren desert, or it's surrounded by a chain of mountains that once you cross that, you're in the dense jungle of, like we'll kind of build the world as we go. So I might have you guys roll for some hexes, but not all of them. And the things that I'm going to be kind of doing in the background is just like wilderness encounters, if you guys run into any animals, weather encounters, so that might affect your piloting checks. Just kind of giving you a little bit of transparency as to what I'm doing, so that you guys can make effective decisions.
Yeah, I think the best first decision would be to send the Marines in to sweep and clear the place to make sure there's not like any hostile creatures that are just gonna tear us scientists apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean that's their job. So have the Marines like a fire team in to go sweep
Just do
and
like,
clear a few of the
do a
buildings.
sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we can go in and see if there's like, I mean, it's possible
You
that
know,
there's
if this
clues.
is a research outpost, I'm sure that both Doctor and Ayaz at least are jumping in excitement to go find out what they're researching and the implications of that information.
I'm interested in possibly finding information that there might be like a more permanent colony somewhere from here.
Right. Or, I mean, there might be records as to what happened that made them abandon the
Yeah,
site
because also
too.
like if this is a temporary settlement, then they had to move to a permanent settlement at some time.
Exactly.
Or we could walk inside and find a stairwell leading down into the into the planet, and it's just some big underground complex.
Yeah. Tech level
So
7,
let's see. So the Marines do a perimeter sweep. They go, door to door, and come back to report that there is, as far as they can tell, no living organisms in the immediate vicinity.
No?
Any
Okay.
dead organisms?
Not that they can tell.
Okay, so it's not filled with corpses. That's a good sign.
That is a very good sign, yeah. If that's the case, then I assume we'll just walk in, go to the first building we see.
And it doesn't look like there's been any like damage to the outside of the structure, right? Like no big, fuck off bullet holes or,
Yeah, no, that's a
land
good
missile
question.
marks or something.
I think based on what we kind of built here, I would say no. I think that any damage to these structures has been done just through time and weather.
Okay.
What am I looking for here? All right, let's go.
Time and weather, aka code name for eldritch horrors.
Don't give him any ideas.
Okay, so let's see. I think this is a good place for us to start building it's kind of going to be dungeon exploration, but it's going to be kind of just, as you move from building to building, room to room, what you're finding. And if, for example, you roll, something of interest in a room, we can stop and spend time there. Otherwise, we can kind of just move through these pretty quickly. And yeah, we'll see what goes on as we go. So if somebody could roll me a d6.
Who rolled last? I think
I think it was Doctor.
So we could just keep going down the list again. So Crystal, you're up again.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What was the roll? No.
Just a d6.
Okay, cool.
Just so we can all share the blame.
Right. Mutually assured destruction.
See, someone understands.
Okay, a 4. Okay, that's interesting. So the first building that you come across, excuse me. The first building that you come across is one of these toppled-in buildings. From what you can gather, it appears to have been a religious site. Maybe the church for this research outpost, but there is some sort of clearly religious iconography in this first building.
Does it seem like any recognizable religion?
I don't know. Why don't you roll me a d12?
Oh god. Nope, that's a d23.
Is it the Church of the Great Spaghetti Monster?
I can't use my fingers. They just don't work. So
6.
we got a 6.
Ah, lovely.
You're going to have to do deeper investigation to determine if this is a god that you are familiar with or a religion that you are familiar with. I would say since it's a pilgrimage site or a way station, it's not, this isn't the Vatican where like there's heavy, obvious influence as to what the religion is about. It's sort of just kind of you guys know like those buildings that don't look obviously religious until you kind of get inside them. Like it looks like just like a regular house or something. And I would say that it's kind of like that.
No, like altar with convenient channels for blood or a ritual dagger tucked underneath something.
The kind of stone mask you put on, Yeah.
Nothing quite like that.
Yeah. Doctor will pull out the camera on the side of his face, just look around and just snap photos of any kind of just seemingly religious iconography that he can guess, just for future analysis.
Okay. What did we established there's like what 10, 12 different buildings, right? In this
Yeah, like
little
around that.
okay. Well, one of them we obviously know is an observatory. But you guys, as you get out of the ATV, like one of the first buildings that you stumble across is this churchish ruin. Uh,
And this building is
entirely up to you guys if you want to do further exploration into the church, or you guys can keep moving through the settlement.
uh let's kind of, I mean, the Marines kind of did their sweep, but they were looking for hostels in specific. Like, I think it might make sense for us to do a little bit of a sweep to look for um, more like areas of interest, and then based on what we find, we can figure out like priorities of what we want to explore further.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking about this is like, if the research station has like a dedicated pilgrimage site, then this is probably, the colony was probably deeply religious.
Yeah.
Well, and reasonably, you could assume, based on finding this church and knowing what we know about human history, I mean, the United States and much of the Americas was discovered in the name of religion,
Yeah.
whether that was expansion or exploitation. So it's not uncommon or surprising, perhaps, that there is a religious uh, outpost in this research facility.
Hey, Alias, guess what?
What?
We have religious scientists in a sci-fi setting.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Oh,
You know what that means?
Did I just accidentally stumble into 40K?
Absolutely.
Here we go. It begins.
It's the start. The pipeline begins.
Well,
Oh, no.
unexpectedly, the Doctor and Ursa explode and
Oh.
are dead
Oh,
forever.
no.
And
Damn.
no,
Wait.
so
If I die in the next like session or two, or even this one, I don't know what's gonna happen before the end. I am happy to take up a Marine.
yeah, you could pick up a Marine, or like I said, it's really, since we're kind of piecing this together, people will come and go, people will jump in at different points in the game. It could be that you say, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to the ship and try see what's going on there. So don't worry too much about story wise how we get people into the game. We'll figure it out as we go. But what do you guys want to do here? I mean, you guys are welcome to game this out however you want to, whether that's looking for evidence of human occupancy, alien occupancy. You guys can make notice and no checks. You guys can,
Are there any
you
kind
know,
of technology in this building? Like any computers, um anything that I could attempt to tap into to gain further knowledge?
in the church building.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be kind of. It doesn't appear to have anything other than like your standard kind of like monitors and keyboards and data slabs that would be the equivalent of today's like books and pamphlets. It doesn't appear that they're
Does it name the settlement?
Is it in an identifiable language?
ever. Hmm.
Ooh.
Is it a picture book? Like what
Make
are we doing?
a. Let's everyone make a no check.
It's all in fucking French.
Oh no,
Damn
not
it!
French.
The one language I didn't care to learn.
No. Listen, French is already pretty much a dead language. It won't be around in
That's an
1,000
11
years.
note check.
11
It's
note
it's
check.
actually gone back to a Pig Latin. Everything is written in Pig Latin.
Holy shit. That's
So
my
small.
maximum no roll.
Nice.
Wow.
2 double sixes in the same session. Jesus Christ.
Why isn't this? I'm not getting that.
If you go on that and you just click no, it should send a thing.
Yeah, you don't click on the skills button. You click on the actual skill name itself, and it should pop up.
And even on the
Ah.
skills tab, it sends that chat. You can then click on the no. If you have a no, it'll highlight red. You can click it. It will know if you have that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm clicking on under quick menus on my character sheet, but it's not the little menu thing is not coming up.
Oh,
It should just be down
My-
lower on your sheet. The tabs might be pulled up still.
yeah. If you scroll down just a little bit, there's a section that says skills, and you can just click on the name of the skill, and it should roll it for you.
Yeah, I just did a test one for you to make sure it was working. So yeah, if you just, well, hang on, let's see. Save that.
If you scroll down, so not quick menu, scroll down, you see the skills, and you can look at all the different skills the pluses in. If you click no, it send a little input menu tab. Just hit submit, and then you're gonna pick the attribute, and then you submit again. It'll roll.
All right, I think something is wonky here. I'm gonna just
Yeah,
log
I'll
out
share
and
my
log back
screen
in.
and I'll show it how to do it. I will share.
And this is when we find out she has a completely different character sheet.
Oh yeah, so
Right.
so you can see my screen now, guys, right?
I can't see anything because my Discord is broken, but that's just me.
Well, as long as Crystal can, it's cool.
Yep, I can see it.
I can see
Alright,
Yes,
so we're gonna
I can
open
see it.
open the Asimov. Go right here, and you go down to your character. You click on it, and then you see this right here, right?
Yeah, so when I click on it, nothing is coming up, so I think there's something weird with
You down
Roll20.
here to the skills, yeah.
No, like when I click on my character, it doesn't open. So I think something is wrong with my Roll20. I'm gonna log out of Roll20 and log back in real quick.
No worries.
Okay, yeah. But when you do see it, what you do is you scroll down here.
Yeah, because
Oh.
it worked before.
Yeah, you scroll down here to where it says no, and you click that. And then
Mhm.
if you go back to the thing, it'll show you this box.
Yep.
Just hit 0, and then go to intelligence or whatever attribute, and it'll roll.
Cool. Yeah, that's how I did it before, but
God damn,
something was
dude.
not working right.
What is with all these sixes today?
Can I use that 12? I'm kidding.
Well, as experts, you guys can re-roll once per scene. So
Oh, I'm not gonna re-roll just to use to replace an 11 with a 12.
Sorry, I'm got my own technical issues going on here right now. Were you able to figure that out, Crystal? Did that?
Yeah, it worked once. I just logged out of Roll20 and logged back in. So I
Okay,
got a
perfect.
3.
Yo.
A 3. Yeah, you don't notice anything, or maybe you're a minor, so I don't know that you would necessarily,
I don't know that I really care about this church so much.
or for that matter, letters. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know enough to read and speak. Why would you need to know anything past that?
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Doctor, it is definitely identifiable as well, hang on, let's save you for last. Go back to Artie, did you roll for this or?
No, I've been struggling to even get my internet working, so
Ugh.
Okay. Well,
I'll roll it.
if you
It's all
want,
good.
if you want to roll, go ahead. But I think that between Ursa and Doctor, I think that you guys should be covered here. So you guys can identify this. It is definitely a human language. Given the strength of the success here, I will let you kind of determine, whether that's a language that you guys know or if it's just recognizable to you. But you have firmly secured the knowledge that this was a human settlement.
I feel like, especially, I mean, just in Doctor's case, I know nothing about how Asta wants to play this, but in Doctor's case, he probably has like, I think like Star Wars, like C-3PO kind of thing, like just store databases that compile all known human languages, just so we can talk to whoever we need to talk to complete his goal. So maybe this is a different sector, so it's not like 100% downloaded, but all languages tend to share some key traits. So Doctor may not know exactly what it says, but he can extrapolate and use context clues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything to add to that, Ursa, or?
I don't think I can read out what it says for whatever language it is, but I think I can easily recognize it. But basically, going along with all my stats horribly dying when I lost my psychic abilities, I feel like it's a language I knew once before, but now it's like blank trying to read it.
Yeah, and speaking of, I
Oh
forgot
God.
it's been a day. You can take 1 point of system strain away.
Ooh.
You are kind of starting to recover from this. Not completely, but you are, maybe coming to terms with the loss of your powers, and maybe also now you're starting to wonder, okay, so I lost my powers around the point of time that the jump gate went down, and then around about the same time, this strange shadow monster thing came out of me. So clearly, all of these things are connected. You're now that you're kind of coming out of the haze and pain of being severed from the meta dimension. You're starting to be able to put things together. You're starting to figure out what happened. So you can certainly start exploring that as you see fit, as it makes sense in the story. Because if you recall, Mimi Fikes put you in charge of the investigation of the meta dimension and what happened to it.
Yes. Seems like something to explore when I'm not surrounded by people, just in case things go horribly, horribly awry.
You know what? That's fair. I see here that you were able to roll already. Do you want to? That's certainly a pass for knowing that this is a human language. Do you think it's something that you would speak, or is Shirova going to keep that information to herself?
I missed it a little bit. My character only really knows English, Russian, and Georgian. So for her, she's really only ever had to deal with folks inside of her circle. So this probably wouldn't be a knowledge language she would know if it's not one of those three.
Okay, that's totally fair. And we go ahead.
Doctor was just going to download all of the files on the computer and do a data slab.
Yeah, you can do that.
And if it is locked he was going to use, so that I could pick up all like the hacking stuff, because there was no like laws against me using it right now. So if there was any kind of firewall, he was just going to use like a phase tab to tap in and backdoor it.
Yeah, well, I was just going to let you do that, but then I realized, how are you going to do that if there's no power to this equipment?
Probably,
Yeah.
we have battery cells, don't we?
There is like a generator of some sort in the survival kit. Hang on a second. Yeah, there's like a type A power cell kind of in the survival kit. So if Doctor is interested in starting to like mess with the computer system, Kiri could help him by kind of messing around with, like the mechanics of it and kind of try and hook up some power so that he can download.
I also have
Uh,
4 of those Type A batteries.
Oh, sweet.
Power cells.
Yeah, so if you guys want to do that, I would say
It's fine. Just take Doctor's power cell. He doesn't need it.
Okay. I also have a toolkit and a bunch of spare parts if it's damaged in some way.
I would have assumed that when we were driving, if Doctor wasn't the one driving, that he would have powered down, by the way, so he could charge his battery cell when he's not in use. So just like sitting in the car, he's just shut down.
yeah, that's
We'll
totally
talk about it
fine.
behind his back.
So if you guys want to do this, if you guys want to like download this information or whatever, I would say make a fix check to see if you can get the, between the generator and the, uh, or what do you call it, the Type A battery cells, if you can get enough juice to get into this database.
Okay. I have the specialist
Uh-huh.
class ability for fix. So is it gonna do that for me automatically or not?
It should,
It's roll
yes.
3d6.
Should.
How do you
Yeah.
roll to
If
aid?
you roll to aid, so you're gonna basically roll a fix check, and then if you pass the DC, they get a +2. They get a +1 to their roll.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna try
And
to
hang
aid.
on one sec. I'm listening. I gotta mute myself to hang on one sec.
No worries. Yeah, I actually
Um,
had a specialist on my other character that I'm with Doctor in, and it automatically applies that 3d6 for you.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as so when you look at your character sheet, next to fix, I assume, does it have the little like 3d6 tab next to it?
It does not.
Then you need to. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to hit the pen button. In that
Oh
gives you
yeah.
the editing
Yep.
thing, and then go down to fix. Do you see where it says the 2? Right there at the end of fix, it's ask my, it's ask, and you press
3d6.
scroll down
Okay.
to 3d6. Click that.
Gotcha.
And then
Cool.
it'll edit your yeah. I like to consider myself a bit of a gamer when it comes to Roll20 API. You got a 1 and still rolled an 8. Okay, kind of jealous. Not gonna lie.
I got a 1, a 6, and I got a +1. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I've got 3d6 when it comes to program.
I have some interesting foci that I'll reveal at some point.
Oh, and I just realized that I did
All
not.
right, sorry about that, guys. So let's see. I
rolled to aid, so.
okay. So then that's a success in the aid. So then, Crystal, you will get a +1 to that 9. That's a 10. So yeah, you knock it out of the water. This is child's play to get the generator and the Type A power cell strung together to download the information from this database.
Can I tap this database into the very dial-up style internet we've got going on the planet, or is it unconnectable right now?
It's gonna sit here for a couple hours beeping and making grinding noises while you transfer the data.
Yeah, let's
I can make a program check if you want to try and like connect it. Like a hack. I don't know if that'd be a hacking. I don't know if it's built to connect to like a kind of like satellite Wi-Fi. So I don't know.
roll me a program check. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Program. Would this be attempting to hack a database or computerized system?
No, I think that because it was just like I said, it wasn't. It's how do I describe this? I think that because it was this religious facility and not like a military facility or research black ops sort of facility, I don't think that you're going to have to hack to get this information. I think that you're able to just get it, and then what you're rolling for here, your program check, is I think that this is going to cover a number of things. I think it's going
I'm
to
gonna
cover.
re-roll that.
Okay. I think that this is going to cover whether or not you are in satellite range to upload this, and I think it's also going to determine how long it takes to upload. So
well,
with a
not a big,
7,
but you know, it is what it is.
with a 7, why don't you roll me a d12 and we'll see how long it takes for this information to upload. I don't think that you're in contact with the satellite right now, so it's going to take 6 hours for this information to make it to the ship AI Horizon.
Oh yeah, and when I send things to the satellite, what I mean is I'm encrypting it and then sending all the data packets straight to Horizon's mainframe, not anyone
Exactly.
else.
So it's going to take 6
Skipping Mimi
hours.
Fikes entirely, just to Horizon.
It's going to take 6 hours for that.
Okay.
So that's something that's probably just going on in the background. And I think that because you're dedicating some processing power to this, depending on what you do in the future, it may like if you're going to try and hack into another system, you know, it might add some difficulty, or you may have to drop this subroutine in order
Yeah,
to
I'll just throw it
focus.
on as like a background process to upload it.
Yeah. Great. So what else do you guys want to do here? Do you guys
Next building?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think we got
I
what we
think
need
so.
from here.
Yep.
From here, I can speak English.
Can you though?
Sometimes. I swear I can speak normally sometimes. I'm not a robot, you're a robot.
Are you sure about that?
I think because like I said, unless you guys want to keep going or have the time to, we are at about 2 hours now. If you guys want to keep going, I'm more than happy to, but I do want to be conscious of everyone's time and make sure that we're not pressing anyone into a time crunch with the rest of their day. So I'm happy to keep going if you guys want to. If not, then I'd like to end with just a quick note for our next session. How do you guys feel about time right now?
I'm cool to keep going. I've got nothing to do.
I have to go because I have to go look at house stuff. But if you
Oh,
want
yeah,
to,
that's right.
if you want to go do your stuff, you guys are more than welcome to keep going without me. I'll just end my recording stuff for now, and you guys can fill me in on what happened afterwards.
I think since one of us needs to go, it might make more sense to call it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
still have to do all my house chores before my next session of the day.
Dang adulting.
So I think then we'll continue the dungeon crawl next session. If unless we get everything we want and you guys want to move on, just note this is a place that you can come back to. But I will say, just to end things, so in exploring this site, when you guys eventually make it to the observatory, you find coordinates on the telescope to suggest it's likely that this was part of the colony ships that came ahead of you. The astral coordinates that were punched into this telescope, there's a number of them, but they all suggest stars that are in this sector.
Nice.
Those stars without number.
There we go.
Title credits. Yeah.
There you go.
Then we cut to
That's
black
it.
at the end.
That was the prologue, guys.
We did it. Great. So yeah, I think that that's a good place to wrap for now. As always, just before everyone goes, I just kind of like to get a check in on how you guys felt the session went. Comments, criticisms, which I will dubiously ignore. Questions. No, I'm I'd just like to get a check in before the next session, and also kind of see what you are interested in doing in the next session, so that I can kind of start mapping out some possible things to do. And I will be updating the map. I'll put in something to indicate that you guys found this settlement on that map.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I always enjoy a good, game with some cool people. I mean, of course, I know Artie and Nathan from previous games, but this is the first time I've really played with you, Alias, and you, Crystal. And I mean, you guys are great. Love the characters. Love the interactions. So yeah, I'm all down.
Yeah, it's always a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I haven't really done a whole lot of, I usually just like I've got like a group of people that I've been gaming with for a long time. I haven't really done like the online gaming before, and you guys seem really cool. And I'm really enjoying like kind of the um exploration aspect of this. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just me, but I'm really enjoying like the almost because of course we're all characters that have been thrust into this kind of very weird situation. So it almost feels as like there's that kind of mutual distrust between everyone. Like we all have the same goal, but no one really knows each other and the motives they have. So I love that kind of like almost my work is my work, don't touch it kind of thing.
Oh yes, I am incredibly paranoid.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to be playing off of that for sure. And I'm definitely very into the exploration side of things as well, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. What did you guys like? Did you guys like being involved in rolling up what you were exploring, or would you prefer that I have a little more material prepared in advance?
Oh no,
It,
100% rolling. I love
Oh,
that.
it was awesome. I loved
Yeah,
it.
that was
We
That's
got
fun.
we
great.
got to. I mean, because one of my favorite things to do, just in general, is to roll a build. It's just the exercise, the mental exercise is incredibly rewarding for me. So being able to do that while also being able to play a character, awesome.
And
yeah. Well,
also,
oh, go ahead.
it gives you the chance to be just as surprised by horrible things we roll up. Yes, we do.
Yeah, well, so that's and I kind of pitched this on the Astronomica subreddit, which I believe is why we have the lovely and talented Crystal here with us today. But one of the things that I was really interested in exploring with Stars Without Number that I'd never really gotten to do before is the sandbox nature of it. And there's all of these tables and resources, and then releasing Worlds Without Number just expanded on that. And so I was interested in seeing how a campaign would work if everything was sort of procedurally generated. And if that doesn't work, if that gets tedious, we can start doing kind of more of a traditional setup. But I kind of liked the idea of everyone collaboratively building the world as they go. So if that continues to work for us, I'd love to keep exploring this. So far, you have not rolled up any encounters. I will say that one of the things that I rolled in the background is inclement weather. So next session, we'll figure out what that means as far as, is that so bad that you can't leave your current location, or if it's just sort of, you're going to have to make increasingly difficult survival checks. But I want to be conscious of everyone's time, so I just wanted to get any last thoughts. I personally think that this is a lot of fun doing the world building together. I am really excited with what you guys came up with. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Keep it up.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's fun.
Well, let's put a pin in it for now. Oh, yeah. Last thing. Like I like to end every session, just kind of see where everyone is and what their characters are thinking for our next session, so that I kind of have some ideas to write, possible story hooks with. And then I promise I'll let you guys go.
It's all good.
I'm trapped. He won't let me leave.
I'll go first because I got to run here. For Shirova, she's very interested in learning more about like what caused these people to like leave, and what caused them to get send that distress signal. But in the more immediate, she's very impressed by our miner here, by Kiri, and is thinking that she might be able to either use her toward her own cause or recruit her into her fold of agents, and have her work with her on some secret missions.
Gary.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is the best my dice have been in months, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure I'll be reverting to form soon.
Oh, that's okay. As for right now, you've impressed her.
Nice. Yeah, I think I mean Curie is just kind of interested in like continuing to explore this site and you know, see what else there kind of is to learn here. Uh, obviously like, she has a personal stake in all this, so wants to explore as much as possible and see it kind of along the same lines, wants to find out what happened to the colonists here and why they abandoned this area.
Yeah. Uh, so what led them to this observatory, and then why did they abandon it?
Right.
Great.
Ursa's got a lot of thinking to do about what exactly is going on, both inside of his head and what even happened to cause all of this. What made psychic phenomenon go fucking crazy? So I think he's gonna
Yeah, and I think especially given that you were so intimately aware of the meta dimension, because you were a meta psychic, right?
yes.
Given how intimately familiar you were with the meta dimension, I'm sure that this is just driving you crazy.
Yes, it's like a whole sense is just gone to me now.
All right, so yeah, we'll continue exploring that because I know that the core rulebook doesn't really explain what the scream is or where it came from.
It's
I
actually
think that
it's funny. Um, Kevin Crawford himself has stated that he never actually made a canonical reason for the scream, and he's never going to explain it, and that it's up to every GM's discretion.
yeah, so I think that as we play, we'll kind of figure out whether or not it is even solvable. Can we find out what happened to cause the scream?
Who
Yeah,
knows?
Doctor is definitely his primary focus, of course, as directed by Horizon, is of course research and development of a stable structure to send colonists to. But his other primary motive is also to keep tabs on everyone else in this group, analyze and investigate their goals and their reasonings. He distrusts Shirova immediately because Shirova somehow managed to uh, deflect all security programming. So immediately distrustful of that. Doctor is also not distrustful, but immensely curious towards Ursa because of losing psychic power, which has never been documented before. And then, yeah, so his job is just to try and keep tabs on everyone and figure out what's going on, and also just help the colony when he can.
Outstanding. Well, I know Artie, you have to run, so don't worry about. I think that's a good place for us to end. Lastly, I just want to get a feeling from you, Crystal. What did you think? I know that this was going to be sort of a filmed live in front of a studio audience type thing today, but I wanted to. Is it something that you would come back to?
Yeah, I had a ton of fun. I mean, thanks for letting me jump in. I'd totally be up for continuing to hang out with you guys and do some gaming.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Well, we will leave it there, and I'll kind of discuss with you guys some thoughts that I have individually, if because I know that I know you sent me a couple of questions, Happy, regarding AI, so I'll chat with you a little bit about that, and then we'll figure out a time that works for everyone to do this again.
All right, sounds good. Have a good day, everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, you as well.
You too.
Bye.
All right, take care.